Welcome. Today, I'm going to be breaking down a chicken. So many things you can do with chicken. So many. Breasts, thighs, legs, chicken wings. You can break it down any way you want. You can roast it whole, break it down, cut it in half, roast a half a chicken, stick the whole thing on a beer or soda can, shove it in your grill, let it go for a couple hours. You have a delicious meal. Today I'm going to show you how to break it down, and then moving on, we're going to start our chicken journey. I'll show you a lot of different applications you can do with it, from the breast, the legs, the thighs, the whole way down to the carcass and everything. So, chicken made up of 2 breasts, 2 wings, 2 legs, 2 thighs here. Also have the entire body that's going to be left that we're going to make some stock out of. Super easy, but it's so versatile. You get 1 chicken, you can feed a family for 3 or 4 days. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start by taking the breasts off. Now you can go in the back, find the wishbone. I just do it straight down the breastbone, and you use that bone as kind of your guide, using a boning knife here, a nice thinner blade as compared to a traditional chef's knife. Small, thin blade allows you to glide around the bones. More accurate. Move a little faster. You hear me hitting the bones. I'm just basically using the bone structure as my guide and just allowing the meat to fall off. I'm not really putting much pressure, you can see. Just let the knife do the work. Just lift it gently, separating the breast from the leg here with that skin. Okay, now we get down in here. You see the breast is connected to the wing. We're going to take that whole wing joint off with the breast, and you just got to open it up, find the joint, slide your knife right in there. Comes off perfectly. Again, just using the knife. So now we've got our breast with wing attached. If you want to take that off, you can. Again, just kind of like this. You can take it off where it meets the breast. You can take it off at the first wing joint. Again, just letting the knife do the work, finding that joint, slide the knife between the joint. There you go. And you can French that, or you can just leave it as is. So we consider an airline chicken breast. Set that off to the side. Now you can see we've removed the breast and wing from one side. You can see there's not much meat left, just a tiny little bit here. It didn't come off. I'm going to save that. Now we're going to move on to the leg and thigh. Again, just using the natural breaks in the chicken here. Going to follow the lines. Just letting my knife glide through it. Right where it meets the joints. I'm just going to pop it open. You can see that the bone popped out. And again, just slide the knife right where that bone meets in that joint. Barely even putting pressure on it. And there you have your leg and thigh. Take this piece off, all this extra skin. We're going to save that. We're going to render it down. I'll show you how to make confit a little bit later. You can leave the skin on. I'm going to take the skin off most of this stuff, render it down, and do some confit chicken legs. Confit, just a term for cooking in its own fat, traditionally used with duck. Can really be used with just about anything. I'm going to show you how to do chicken here. And then we're just going to work our way onto the other side of the chicken. So everything's got 2 sides here. Okay, so we have our first leg and thigh taken off. Got our first breast taken off and cleaned. And the wing joint, a little bit of fat left over. Now, I'm going to get in here. And again, just using that knife to glide along that breastbone there. You can see how the meat just lifts off. Turn it around if it's any easier. Just using the knife tip of the knife along the bone. You can see where the tenderloin is separating from the breast. You can take that off if you want. You can save it. Make little chicken tenders, breaded chicken tenders, grilled tenderloins. And again, just using the knife and the weight of the breast. And we just separate the skin again from the breast and the thigh. And you see we find the joint where it comes apart. Just take your knife right between there and there. We've got our second breast with wings still attached. Now we can go on the other side, and right where that wing meets, take the knife right through there. Now you have a whole chicken wing. If you get enough of those, you can have a little football party. And when I was talking about the tenderloin you don't even really need to cut. It just comes right off. Literally just pulled it right off. So now we've got our tenderloin and our chicken breast. Now we can take that skin off. Again, don't even have to use the knife. Comes right off. And again, we'll just use that and render it down so we can make some confit chicken legs that we might use in a cassoulet later. Who knows? Again, so here we have our skin-on chicken breast with the first wing joint. And then we've got our boneless, skinless chicken breast. Again, this one still has the tenderloin attached. This one does not. Nice, clean, easy to use. Grill it, slice it up for cutlets, bread it, fry it, sous vide it, whatever you want. Okay. So now we're going to come back over here. We're going to take this leg and thigh off. Again, just using the natural guys. See all these seams in here? These seams of fat? It's pretty much going to tell you where the bone is and where the joints are. So right here, I know there's a thigh bone. Right here is where the joint meets. I'll show you where that comes in handy. And again, we're just going to pop it out. Let the knife go right through that joint, just following that seam. Now we've got our chicken carcass, and we're going to just take that, break it down just a little bit further, right through there. We're going to save that for stock. I'll show you how much meat comes off that too after cooking, which is kind of remarkable. So, getting back to these fat seams, you got one right there running down the thigh bone. You can see where the thigh bone starts. It's going to run the whole way up there. Right here we have another one where the leg actually meets the thigh. Now watch how easy this is. You follow that, and it pretty much tells you exactly where that joint is. Right there. Okay. You got your leg and your thigh. If we want to make this thigh boneless, again, we're just going to follow either side of this. And just slowly work around the bone, leaving as much meat as possible on it. We get down to the end. Just taking it right off. Again, the bone is going to go into our stock pile. We can take the skin off of this as well. Just like the breast, just pulls right off. Put that in our skin to render down. So now we've got a boneless, skinless chicken thigh. Got our chicken drumstick there. And now we can see where that came from. Got the drumstick, the thigh with the skin on. And again, just following these seams to find where the break is in the joint. Just going right through. Now we've got 2 legs, 2 thighs, the breasts, and we've just broke down a whole chicken. Okay, now before we move on, anything else? We'll finish up this chicken demo here. You can see we've broken down our breast, taking the skin off, boneless, skinless. Now we've got 2 tenderloins, a little bit extra meat there. We have a boneless, skinless chicken thigh, a bone-in, skin-on chicken thigh, 2 chicken drums, and our leftover chicken fat that we're going to render down. We're going to put all of these things into a vacuum bag. We're going to make a sous vide chicken confit in a little bit. But for now, we're going to use our chicken carcass and all of our bones left over to make a nice chicken stock. We're going to get that started. We want to let that go about 6 to 8 hours to develop all the flavor. Get a nice flavorful full-bodied chicken stock that you can use, and we're going to peel this meat off of here once it's done and maybe make some chicken noodle soup. Again, just one more dish you can make out of an entire chicken. So we've got our chicken carcass we split, got the back where the thighs met. We've got our chicken, that's where the breast was, the rib cage. There's a lot of flavor still left in there. It doesn't look very appetizing now, but it will get there. I'm going to use the chicken wings as well in this stock because honestly, unless I'm breaking down 6 to 12 chickens, I'm really not going to get enough chicken wings to really make it worth it turning the fryer on or frying up 2 chicken wings just to have by myself. And again, I have that bone here from the chicken thigh, still going to add some flavor. Now, another important part of chicken stock is what we call mirepoix. That consists of carrots, celery, onions. Have them roughly chopped small enough they're going to get tender and release enough flavor in our cooking time. If you're making, say, a beef stock, you can use slightly larger pieces because you're going to be cooking the stock longer. So it's going to have more time for those flavors to come out and enhance the flavor of the stock. We've also got our herbs here. I tied up in a little piece of butcher's twine. Got some fresh thyme, parsley, and a bay leaf. Again, just to impart some extra flavor, some aromatics. And here I have 2 crushed garlic cloves. Skin's still on, that's okay when you're working in a restaurant. A lot of times you'll just save your scraps from vegetables. So you're cutting up onions, you'll just save all the scraps, the ends of your onions, celery, carrots, your garlic peels, your parsley stems. Again, a nice way to save money, cut down on cost, utilize everything. And with the garlic, I have some peppercorns. Again, just a nice little flavor enhancement. So now we're going to move on to the stock. All right, we moved over to the stove. We have our chicken bones in our stock pot. Again, chicken stock is probably the simplest but yet most versatile thing you can make out of a chicken. And again, you're basically just using something that you would normally just throw away. You can make chicken stock, you can make soup out of it, you can make sauces, you can make risotto, cook your noodles in it, make a nice sauce. Really, the possibilities are endless. So you can roast your chicken bones in the oven if you'd like for a darker stock. I prefer just throwing everything in the pot, keeping it simple, adding some water just to cover, and bringing it to a simmer and letting it go. So we're just going to add our mirepoix. Again, onions, carrots, celery. Going to put our garlic cloves, peppercorns in. And then we'll just add our herbs right in there. And now all we've got to do is really just add, we want to start with cold water. Just to cover the bones. So we got that. You can see the bones are still sticking out just a little bit here. We're going to add just a little bit more water. Just to cover it. Make sure everything's submerged. And we are there. Going to turn this on a medium-high heat for now. We're going to bring it to just under a boil, right whenever it starts to bubble. And then we'll turn it down to a low simmer. And we'll just cook it gently for, like I said, 6 to 8 hours.